Crypto winter confirmed, or just a brutal crypto price correction that ended last week when the Bitcoin price hit $60,000 and many altcoins fell to lows that they haven't seen for years? Well, let's find out. During that crypto capitulation event, many different indicators and signals flashed that you typically don't see until the very bottom of bear markets are in. So if that's true, why are so many expert analysts calling for an extended crypto winter? One that will end in Q4 of this year, which, by the way, is at least 10 months away and definitely isn't a good time to be holding crypto. Well, in this video, I'm going to be talking about exactly what those indicators have been showing us and what I'm doing with my own investments to safeguard myself against what happens over the next few weeks and months ahead, because I think things could be about to get very interesting indeed. Do me a favor, hit the like button, and let's get into it. Now guys, before we dive in and check out those key signals, as well as whether or not I've decided it's time to bail on this crypto market, just a quick disclaimer. Nothing I say in this video is financial advice. Everything I say is for entertainment purposes only. If you wish to invest in crypto, you should understand it's risky and you can lose money. So risk money that you can't afford to lose, and always do your own research before investing in anything. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's crack on with it. Now guys, before we jump across to those signals, let's have a quick look at the Bitcoin chart and let's understand what happened last week. Now looking at the weekly chart, it's fairly obvious. Okay, Bitcoin last week came down from $79,000 all the way to $59,000, fall of around $20,000. Then, since then, Bitcoin then pumped back up around 14% and is currently sat at the time of making this video at $68,800. However, sentiment in the market is near enough at all-time low. Okay, right now the fear and greed index has a reading of 6, telling you that the majority of the market are running for their lives. No one wants to be in this anymore. It is pretty bad out there. And that's partly for a few different reasons. Mainly because for the last 128 days or so leading up to last week, we've also seen Bitcoin and altcoins struggling. Now, if you saw the video I made last week, I told you that I was going short on silver and gold. And at the same time, I decided to jump into trades on Bitcoin and Ethereum going long. Now, obviously, the gold and silver trades worked out quite nicely. Unfortunately, the Bitcoin and Ethereum trades didn't work out quite so well because I was expecting that Bitcoin would likely bounce in and around this buy zone area because obviously we saw a lot of buying pressure from here back when Donald Trump won the election, but also because the sentiment in the market had got pretty bad. Lo and behold, it got worse and we whipped all the way down through this zone and then annoyingly came back up to this zone, but you know how it is. Anyway, enough of all of that. What happened to these indicators? Let's understand whether or not this is actually a bottom, whether we're in for a safer ride now for crypto or whether things are going to continue to get worse like the majority of people are telling you they are. Well, first things first, let's use the Sharpe ratio. This comes from CryptoQuant and it basically shows you when the price of Bitcoin is very risky to the upside and kind of a little less risky to the downside. Obviously, this is crypto, guys. You've been in crypto. You appreciate that crypto is risky. We talk about it all the time. It's in the disclaimer at the start. We know that crypto is risky. Even if it comes down, it can go down more. If it goes up, it can go up more. We know it's very volatile, right? Now this, because it's volatile, tells us that when the price goes up very, very quickly, it tends to go red. It tells us to mean that it's not a very good time to be in the market because it can be a little bit dangerous. On the flip side of that, when it goes down deep into this green zone down here, it tends to mean it's a little bit of a safer time to get in because the momentum of which it enters going down is more aggressive. When you get very aggressive sell-off, it typically triggers everyone who wants to sell to get out and everyone who wants to buy to kind of get in. Price tends to stabilize a little bit after significant rapid moves. But that doesn't tell me right now that I'm comfortable aping into the market with everything I've got. Okay, so I need to build my thesis, build different bits of data together to understand whether or not we have a higher probability setup versus a lower probability setup. Now, coming up next in no particular order is the EMA or exponential moving average, which is this blue line on the 200 week. Now you can see this goes all the way back to December of 2018, which was the bear market low from 2017 bull market. Obviously, we had that Black Friday event or the COVID event. Was it on a Friday? Whatever day it was, which basically came in on around the 9th of March. And then from there, Bitcoin went up very significantly. Now this, by the way, is a correction. Okay, in 1 week, Bitcoin went from 8K all the way down to 3,700K, okay, which is more than 50%. And then by literally the same time next year, it was already up at $61,000. Okay, so that was the low, $3,000, $4,000. Many people there were calling for it to roll over and die. Lo and behold, by the end of the year, in December time, it was around $31,000. It had done a 10x. Okay, this is what we need to be thinking about right now, because while it feels terrible and horrible right now, I get it, we need to be very careful that we're not in a similar situation here. Because while many people are saying it looks very similar to this situation, in the majority of ways, I would say that it doesn't look anything like that. Okay, so I think there's lots of things we need to unpack right now. Now, this blue line, moving average, obviously we dropped down it before, but ultimately Bitcoin, as you can see, with the exception of that 1 wick and here, Bitcoin has always been above this 200-week moving average. Now, what does that tell us? It tells us that around 5% of the time, Bitcoin has been under this line, which tells us that when Bitcoin is under this line, it's probably at a reasonable value. Right now, though, you can see that we wicked under that line, and now, at the time of making this video, it is sat on top of this blue line. At the same time as saying that, you can look down below. You can see that the RSI, okay, or the Relative Strength Index, sits in overbought territory, which it hasn't done since the bear market lows pretty much all the way back in 2022. Now, you'll notice it does come into this low area here before that final capitulation event that was caused by the FTX collapse at the end of 2022. So this happened in June, and then we had another few months of rollover before we saw any continuation. We'll talk about that in a moment. We also can go back, and this was COVID. This was the 2018 bear market bottom, and that was how that looked. And what this basically shows us right now, and obviously we're going to build on this as we go, is basically that we can expect that it's very unlikely, dare I say it, in the very short term to see further capitulation without some form of a kind of a bounce coming in and around this zone. Okay, it's not impossible, but I'm saying that a lot of these different indicators are telling you that there's a lot of exhaustion in the selling in this market right now. Around 86% of people holding Bitcoin are underwater in their trades right now. These typical factors come in to show you a local bottom is in. Doesn't mean necessarily the price goes straight back up from here, but it tells you that we should at least, worst case, have some relief in and around this zone. So our job now is to understand whether this is just going to be a relief rally, or whether or not we are going to roll into a bear market that runs into the end of this year. Now, if you look into the bottom chart here, you can see Bitcoin on the weekly, and you can see that ever since 2019, okay, you can see that Bitcoin basically has this line as support. The only exception was when it broke it during that COVID dump, but as we know, that happened very quickly, and then we saw prices surging towards the upside. When you see these very aggressive wicks breaking through a particular kind of area, it's always worth being a little bit cautious. If you didn't get out before that wick comes down, typically after you see the wick, it can be a very strong indicator that buyers are stepping into the market. Another thing to pay attention to is what happens during these events. And typically we have extreme volatility. Now, on the top, you've got the Bitcoin Volatility Index. Okay, now you can find this by searching for BVIV, okay, on tradingview.com, and you can see that every time it's had significant spikes up towards the upside. Here you can see that we have a low coming in for crypto. On the left, you've got the FTX collapse here, which happened on the 7th of November. Then you can see that we have the Japan carry trade on the 5th of August 2024, which was this low, which you can see basically was really only recognized as a low kind of a few months later, because until then people continued after that event to continue to be bearish until Donald Trump won the election, and then suddenly everyone got bullish. But unfortunately by that point, people who decided to flip bullish had already missed out on a 42%, and for some altcoins like Sui, etc., they'd already done multiples during this period of time. Okay, so these ultimately major volatility marked the macro bottom at the time for Bitcoin. Now, what we can see last Thursday, I've labeled it because there was a few different bits and pieces that were adding up together. Okay, we obviously had stuff going on with the Fed. We obviously had the fear events going on with the new Fed chair. We had other things going on around tariffs. We had more Japan carry trade stuff, which continues to show its head. We had Jeffrey Epstein apparently being Satoshi, and also some other weird and wonderful things happen all at the same time. And that came on the end of an already kind of exhausted crypto market where investors were already significantly in fear, which is why we ended up leaning aggressively into extreme fear. Okay, we went down into level 6 of the Fear and Greed Index. Now, typically, major fear events, huge volatility spikes in crypto, being oversold, 85% of people holding Bitcoin are in a loss right now, do all point to it being a good time to accumulate Bitcoin and potentially larger cap altcoins. But this is 2026. This is the year after you get a new president in the Oval Office in the United States. This has typically been a bear market year. You would be right in saying that. And so far, so good as far as the bearishness is confirmed. Okay, because right now, a lot of things are looking similar to how they looked at the start of 2022. Okay, we had the downwards push in Bitcoin, we had the bear flag, we had the dead cat bounce, we had the rollover, and now the Bitcoin price effectively is sitting here. Okay, as far as what it looks like, this is basically where the Bitcoin price is right this second. Now, as you can see, that was a much, much bigger drop, okay? A much more aggressive drop. But ultimately, because Bitcoin became so much bigger and you had so many more kind of players in the game, it has more kind of pain in the system. There's obviously a lot more money that got capitulated out of it than happened here. So what many people are calling for is like a 76% drop, but effectively we come to the same sort of conditions as to what we came to before, and that's probably because we've managed to see so much more aggressive price upside. That means we can have a fairly substantial drop and still be kind of sat above the previous bull market high. Now, this is obviously because you've got lots of ETFs, you've got lots of institutional interest. The network effect that people like to talk about all the time is becoming bigger. Obviously, more and more people coming into the bull market. There's a lot more people here, perhaps, than were really in the market in like 2017. There's a lot more people here right now than were at lows of FTX. Okay, there's a lot more people kind of have entered into the market over the last kind of course of the last few years. But here's my 2 cents. I don't believe that we're going to see an extended bear market that's going to roll over for the next 10 months or so. I actually believe that Bitcoin and many altcoins will be back above highs some point into kind of Q3, maybe into Q4. I don't think it's necessarily going to be a V-shaped recovery anymore. I think there's a lot of things that have got to happen before that can take place. So why is that? Well, because of so many different factors. What looked the same during this was literally the chart. Okay, and the sentiment started to add up. But ultimately, what was different is that this part here was caused by massive quantitative tightening. It was caused by huge stress across the economy. It was caused by a huge number of different factors. During this period, you had like 3 Arrows Capital collapse. You also had like Terra Luna collapse and the collapse of loads of these like leveraged DeFi ecosystems paying big yields. Eventually, you had the collapse of FTX. Okay, all of these different things went wrong during this period of time. But up here, everything was super bullish. Okay. Up here, everything was already super bearish, but still price was getting support. And that's because of what's been going on in macro. Now, obviously, you had the government shutdown that happened at the end of last year that got a lot of us, including myself, caught up in this. We've then seen gold and silver rallying like crazy, which means that all the speculative people who like to buy cryptocurrency, the risk takers, shall we say, all went to kind of the shiny new object. Okay, this wasn't the meme coin cycle. It was gold and silver basically behaving like meme coins. Everyone took their money across. We then saw Tether announce that news article to try and drag more people across. We saw Binance and all the different exchanges allowing people to take their crypto money and put it into gold and silver when those were pretty much near the top and crypto was near a bottom. We then saw this massive wick towards the downside. Now, right now, in the complete opposite to what we saw in 2022, we are moving towards quantitative easing. The US Federal Reserve has been printing money and will continue to inject billions of dollars every week into the US economy. Now, up until then, a lot of that money has been getting absorbed by gold and silver, but I think that trade may have gone quiet. A lot of people are no longer talking about gold and silver and probably a little bit reluctant to take their crypto money and go and add to that market. They're sitting on the sidelines right now, or they've held on to their crypto. But, of course, I don't expect to see this do this. For a number of reasons. One, it's going to take a little while for sentiment to recover in the market, but also next week is Lunar New Year, where everyone in China, in Hong Kong, in Korea, in Malaysia, and other parts of Asia decide to check out completely for a good couple of weeks. And you might not think this is very important, but actually during these periods of time, volume on some exchanges can drop by up to 90%. So I do think that we are about to see a boring couple of weeks. But while we're having a boring couple of weeks in parts of Asia, but there is another part of Asia that's doing something quite interesting right now that I think is going to have a very positive impact on crypto. It's Japan. They've decided that they're going to aggressively start printing money. And this is quite important because typically the stimulating of economies is what grows liquidity in the market. The US right now are doing the same. This is obviously a positive thing. So whereas we saw tightening back in 2022, everybody else is starting to ease. And the positive effects of this can already be seen in that the ISM has been starting to rise higher. ISM basically starts to signal to banks and institutions that we are risk on in the market and that we should be looking to healthier times ahead. And if you look at high yield growth corporate bonds versus low yield growth government bonds, you can see that yes, we had a little bit of a blip to the downside last week, but nothing really that should be causing us any concern like perhaps these major sell-offs before. Right now, this is continuing to rise higher. This tells me from macro side, smart money, banks, institutions are still risk on. So whilst it's not very comfortable in the crypto market, I still believe that the macro tailwinds are going to be pushing us towards where we want to be going. So what does that mean and what am I doing with my crypto? Well, here's the first thing I want to tell you about. In the last bear market, many altcoins actually bottomed when Bitcoin was in this zone. Okay, Cardano and a few others had been bottomed in this zone already. You then had the FTX collapse where Bitcoin and Solana and a few others kind of went lower and lower, but actually a lot of other altcoins had really already seen their lows between this date, which was the 6th of June 2022, and the 7th of November, which you can see here, Ethereum, June 2022. This is the FTX collapse, Ethereum actually goes up during that period of time. This is BNB in June 2022, then it goes up. Okay, so a lot of altcoins find their bottom earlier than Bitcoin may do. And if Bitcoin is now being bought up in big numbers, this is something that's worth paying attention to, because I would imagine after 128 days or so, many altcoins are seemingly finding their lows. Not all of them, but many altcoins have been decimated. And this is why, despite the fact that Bitcoin hasn't been doing very well, which previously meant that altcoins would suffer, that you're actually seeing others, which is the altcoins versus Bitcoin, holding this bottom. Okay, they've just been putting in this higher low pattern here. And over the years, every time kind of altcoins have managed to establish themselves here, they've ultimately bounced towards the upside. Also, something to pay attention to is the Bitcoin dominance chart, which, as you can see, is in this kind of rollover pattern. You know, when we look back to Bitcoin, anyone who was bearish liked to tell you that this was a bearish pattern. But interestingly, those same people are now telling you that this is bullish, when it's not. It looks like the same thing, right? It's a bear flag. Ultimately, it's been trying to get up higher, it's getting rejected. This will likely roll over. Now, this will likely mean that altcoins can start to outperform Bitcoin. Not necessarily instantly, but it does mean that I'm personally still all right with holding altcoins. Now, I'm not all right with holding all altcoins. What I've tried to do is consolidate towards different coins. I focus towards altcoins that I know, whether we go through more chop or whatever, will still be around in the future. Okay, the Suis of this world, the hyperliquids of this world, the Ethereums. Obviously, I've been picking up some more Bitcoin as well. Makes sense. And I've still held on to Aether and like a couple of other small cap, because I know these projects that are generating significant revenue and doing well, because they will have bounce back ability. But of course, I'd be silly to say that there wouldn't be any potential danger of sliding lower. Anything for me, if we get down into kind of this zone, is basically buy time. Okay, I don't think that we really get any lower than that. Okay, I do think, to be honest, we're not likely to slide much lower than this in the immediate short term. I do think a bit of a relief is in order. And I do think, to be honest, we could just be kind of like popping around around this zone. But looking out to time horizons, I find it hard to see prices lower than they are right now towards the end of this year. If anything, I think the prices will be significantly higher towards the end of this year. And I don't believe that we are in a crypto winter just yet. I do think that there is potential for that happening in the future after a major kind of blow off top bull market that we are still waiting to see. I still think that the conditions are set for that. But we could see more chop, we could see more fear worry events coming in after Chinese New Year, etc. So right now, I'm not too concerned about what we see in the short term. I'm quite happy to see the markets build into the future, and I'll continue to bring you updates on what I think is going on in the markets. I'm not going to come and tell you what's already happened. I don't think there's any use in that. I'm going to come and tell you what I believe is going to play out based on all of the data and research that I've been doing. If you made it this far through, do me a favor, hit the like button, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you've been buying the dip, whether you sold up and you got completely out the market. And as well, while you're at it, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye-bye.